All right, good evening, everyone. I am Grace. I am your host for the evening. Welcome to Thursday. Welcome to the last ZTV episode of the week. Thank you for being here. It is an episode of Make It Alexandria with your host, Alyssa Kovach of Alexandria Makers Market, and she is welcoming Leanne Hopkins of Do Good Soaps and Suds. And so, without further ado, I will let Alyssa take it away.
Hi, guys. Good evening. Happy Thursday. Thank you so much, Grace. Guys, I am so excited to have my friend Leanne join us this evening. She and I connected about a year ago and got to know each other a little bit better. And not only am I a customer of hers, and we're going to talk about that, but her mission for her brand is really just super important. And so I would just love for you guys to get to know Leanne and get to know more about Do Good Soaps and Suds. So, Leanne, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello, Zebra TV people.
Oh my goodness, I love that. Leanne, only because we know each other and we've gotten to know each other better, I know that you have a really interesting story of how you got to this point and the evolution of Do Good Soaps and Suds. Would you share a little bit of that and just let us know kind of where you started and how you got to here?
Wow. I do that because I'm I have a long history. So I will give you the abbreviated version.
Yes, perfect.
I have done a great many things in my life. Everything from being a law professor to a counselor to a clergy woman. I'm ordained clergy. To being an attorney. I've worked in a factory. I've done everything you could possibly imagine. I've led organizations before. But what got me to be a soap maker? I mean, that's crazy. I've gone from one bar to another bar. So the journey, like I said, I'm gonna give you the short version, but the
Perfect.
short version is this. About 3 years ago, in the middle of everything we were all dealing with, I was looking around my home and I was hearing stories on the internet and on Facebook, and my stream was filled with turtles with straws up their nose and fish that were being, ruined because of all the plastic pollution in the ocean. And of course, living in the city, you also see a great deal of pollution just everywhere in the street, in the woods where I live. It was ubiquitous, this plastic
Mm,
problem. And I thought, well, what can I do? I'm one person, right? Well, I took a peek in my bathroom and I thought, I'll start there. And I found a shampoo bottle, a conditioner bottle. Okay, maybe two or three conditioner bottles. Lip balms out the wazoo. I had soap bottles. I had just tons of bottles. So I put my little noggin together and I thought about my past and my grandmother's past. What did they all grow up with? They certainly didn't grow up with plastic.
mhm.
Used cleaning products that were solids. So, solid dish soap, solid soap. Everything was a solid. Nothing was packaged.
Mm.
So I thought, well, I'm sort of a can-do gal. I'll make some. Well, that's what got me started. I started concocting all kinds of recipes. And the thing was, people really, really liked it.
Yeah.
And they were like, "So can I have some?" And I'm like, "Okay, all right, I'll make you some." And about that time, I was also thinking I wanted to move away from doing my attorney work full time. So it was just a nice little segue. But my reason for doing this is to get rid of plastic. One soap, one lotion, one balm, one bar at a time. So that's what I'm doing. And we can talk a
uh,
lot more about plastic.
uh, it is such a really important mission, and more and more of the makers that I'm talking with, that I've had here on Make It Alexandria, and even just ones that I've worked with for events, this is part of their mission as well. And it's interesting that we'll call us the little fish. We got these little players that are trying to do big things to really improve not only the product and the customer experience, but also have a bigger impact globally. So, I mean, I think it's super relevant, and I love that that's where you started. That's the core of how you got into this to begin with. And so tell us a little bit about, because it's not just one soap or one conditioner bar at this point. You have a very wide
Mm,
variety of products. So tell us a little bit more about that.
I do. So we've got the soaps, which, that's sort of the basic. I have probably, I think at this point, 14 varieties or so, maybe 15. And then I have a couple of dish soaps, these. I also have products to help in the kitchen that are plastic free because we really have to get rid of those sponges and those paper towels, right? So we have these. I don't know if you've used them or your audience has ever used them, but they're Swedish dishcloths, and they come in so many cute and wonderful varieties. Oh, there they are. There they are. But they will hold up to 18 times their weight in water. They are durable. They will last anywhere from 9 to 12 months. At least that's what I can make mine last. And once I'm finished with it, I cut it up and I compost it in the backyard. So those are wonderful. Um, let's see, I think you know about all my lotions. So
I
the
do.
lotions are great. And again, most of the lotions that we find in the store, what you're buying a piece of plastic with a lot of water in it, basically, instead of the actual lotion and all the essential oils. So what it looks like this. It's just a bar, and you heat it up with your hands. Now I use mine after the shower because my body's nice and warm. So I use it at that point, but I have I have these everywhere in the house. So that's one line, and I've got like three different varieties of those. I think your audience also might know, at least your makers market folks, the Camp Love bar is a bug repellent. It's a solid. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, and it's made out of neem oil, citronella, cedar wood, rosemary, peppermint, tea tree, all the things that the bugs hate. The only thing I didn't put in there was grapefruit. Did you know that grapefruit's a really good bug repellent?
I did not know that, but I will put in a plug for the Camp Love, because I got it last summer and went camping, and that's what we used on the kids and everybody. Um, and actually went to an area where there were a lot of ticks and mosquitoes. So, and it worked very well. So
Oh, I'm so
that's just
glad.
my little customer review.
Oh, that's great. I mean, that's what That's why we do what we do, you know? And who wants your children to have all those toxic
Yeah.
chemicals on the body?
Yeah.
Um,
And
especially
that's why I
when your
thought
kids.
I'll give this a try, and if it doesn't work, we had backup, but it really did. So that, I mean, to your
Good.
credit, it worked very, very well. And I felt really good about the fact that it wasn't like this aerosol spray that, was not really good for us or our environment to begin with. Um,
Right. Right.
so yeah. So let me ask you this. This is maybe a two-part question. How did you get into, okay, I'm going to make soap, and then come to the point where you had 14 different varieties? But, but then also, how did that begin to break off into the different products, if that makes sense?
It it does make sense. I started with the soaps. That made the most sense. But
Mm,
like I said, I was looking around my bathroom trying to figure out, hmm, what's the next thing I'm going to tackle?
mm.
And, I wasn't about ready to make my toothpaste. Well, I've actually tried that. So, anyway, I don't want to tell you about that story, but I tried the toothpaste. Instead, I now buy the bites, the little bite things that you can get. I don't know if you've had those, but those are great. But the next thing I did was actually I went from that and I used apple cider vinegar rinse, which obviously couldn't be put in a bar. I sold that for a while, but then I thought, I can just tell people how to make that. I don't want to make money off of apple cider vinegar and the things I put in it. I'll just show you. That's sort of my personality. I want to take care of people and let them do it themselves if they can. The second thing I made, you use these too.
I do.
These are um, deodorant bars, and they're really awesome.
I
I don't want to
again
brag.
will I will also give another plug for those. I've used natural deodorant for many years. I made the switch when I began breastfeeding my babies, and I think we've talked about this. Like, you can try different brands. Sometimes, like, the different formulas are going to work well or better for other people. But I have found that yours is what really works best for me. So thanks for keeping me stink free. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. I'm just trying to help the planet out, right?
Yeah, I really appreciate that. So, and as you were kind of going through this process, because you haven't been doing it for that long, for 3 years,
Mhm.
did it become easier and easier as you made the switch from one to the, giving up one plastic bottle of shampoo to the bar? And did it just become a little bit more natural for you?
It's become much easier, I have to
Mhm.
say. But the hardest thing I did was to go from my shampoo to my shampoo bar.
Mm.
But I had to do it. Let me just share with you. Here's one of the main ingredients in a high salon shampoo that I used. It's called methylchloroisothiazolinone. 11 syllables. And that's pretty, and it's a whole list of ingredients like that. And once I started looking at what these ingredients were, I thought, what am I putting on my head?
Mm.
So I started making the shampoo bar, but that was a really, really hard switch. Um, it's not an easy switch. I will tell you, and I tell every single customer, some people have no problems whatsoever making the switch, but others definitely do. And they, like I did, I used the hippie bar And at the very, very beginning, I it was it just felt kind of like there was still lots of residue in there, and just
Mm.
and it still felt like my body was like doing extra on the oils, you know? So literally, it takes some time for some people to get the right consistency of shampoo, conditioner, apple cider vinegar rinse. It's a big experiment.
Okay.
I I can tell you that I have two different types of shampoo bars, and one is typically for like my kind of hair, uh, which is dry to normal with the occasional moments of oiliness and kind of thick. And the other one has a lot of tea tree oil in it, and that's really good for folks that have shorter hair, um, thinner hair, things like that. Yeah, yeah.
So if somebody were trying to make the switch and they saw your full product line, what do you think is a really good entry point for somebody who's just kind of curious, like, let me check this out, let me see if I can start to be a little bit more conscientious about the products that I'm using?
Sure. We all have a starting place for green. Um, I have some customers that really they just want to switch out their sponge, or they don't want to use as much in the way of paper towels. That's a great start. It's a great start. Um, if they're uncomfortable with soaps, and some people, we have this thing about a soap, and once we put it down, it's slick and it's wet, and
Mm.
somebody else might have picked it up. Um, so we kind of have the heebie-jeebies. I don't know. I feel like we need to do a whole new PR campaign for the soap bar, because soap, it's antibacterial, and its whole purpose is to break things down and take away the gook and all that stuff. So soap doesn't they've done studies. Soap in a bar has less in the way of bacterial um, issues than regular soap bars. You know, those dispensers we use for the hand sanitizer, those have more nasty things on them than a regular old soap bar. Just a little plug for soap.
And do you just recommend, especially if people are switching to a shampoo or a conditioner bar, just get a really nice soap dish that maybe is out of the reach of the spray in the water?
Yes, yes, a soap dish is absolutely necessary. But here's something. I'm going to add this to my Instagram feed in a couple of days. Pop open, that Port City brew that you've got ready in the refrigerator. Take that little cap, put the cap on the back of your soap, and it
Oh,
provides a little teeny weeny lift. And when your friends come over, because they're starting to come over now that they're all vaccinated, when they look at your soap and they pick it up and they're like, what's on the back here? You'll have great conversational piece. You can talk about your brew, your beer as well.
I love that. That is really a perfect little recommendation that I never expected. So thank you. That's perfect.
Sure.
And speaking of, you have some really this. I just remembered you have some really fun ingredients in some of your soaps and your different bars, like Port City beer. What are some of the other? Yeah. Do you
My
want to talk about that
favorite
for?
beer, Optimal Wit.
And so,
That's
what
a
are some of the
winner.
advantages for that? Because I don't know that I would net. I don't think cleaning with beer is something that I would typically think about.
It's actually very, very good, and it helps with the lather. Though that's a whole nother story, because we don't really need lather. Um, Yeah, I have to train people about how to use soap bars because
Mm.
if you use a handmade, handcrafted, real ingredient kind of bar, you don't have to use as much. And we've been sold the idea through corporate America that we need to lather, and it's those soap bubbles that are actually doing all the cleaning. That's not the case. You'll go through a lot of soap bars if you wait to the really big lather. Okay.
Mm.
So don't wait for the lather, my friends. Just, I want your bars to last a long time. But the brew bar is fabulous, and it has rosemary and lavender and lemon, and it doesn't smell at all like beer. So, Alyssa, I'll send you some.
I can't wait. That is going to be a hit for sure in our house. And we have also used, because we're also huge coffee fans, you have a lovely one with some coffee and it's kind of a scrubby kind of effect,
Yeah,
exfoliator.
yeah. That one I just ran out of, but it's coming back in about a week. It's called the Dandy, and it's just so yummy. It has coffee grounds in it, and clove and musk, and it's got this wonderful sort of spiciness to it. So it really pops. It's a popular one. That's why I'm out of it right now. But it'll be back.
How, I mean, in terms of your production, I know that you are, yeah, it's a one woman show at this point, and you are the one kind of crafting all of it. Yeah, yes, exactly. Because you're the front line, you're the janitor, you're all of the things, all of the roles. But what does something like this take? If somebody wanted to, let's say, okay,
Mhm.
I'm going to just start making my own deodorant. Is it a
Uh-huh.
messy setup? Is it a huge setup? Is it something that somebody at home could undertake in small bits and pieces?
Absolutely. Seriously, go online. There are some wonderful, maybe later I can put in, I don't know if you guys have notes or whatever, but there are some wonderful blogs, um, some moms that have done DIY blogs that are all natural, and they have some wonderful recipes in there. If I shared my recipe with you, I'd have to, hurt you.
I am definitely not suggesting that. And I'm
No,
just
I'm
wondering if
teasing. I'm
it is
teasing.
if it's is if it's easy for people to kind of start to make these changes, or
Yes.
um if really, and this is what I do recommend, if everybody should just come to you to really get the quality that we need and we deserve, and that's going to be good for our families. So
No,
uh,
I am a big believer in do it yourself. So anything that I can help you with, there are household cleaners. I make my own household cleaners out of some of the most basic things: baking soda, um, alcohol, gosh, why am I blanking now? Apple cider vinegar, lemon juice. There are all kinds of things that you can make to clean your house and do it in a way that's safe for your kids and for yourself. So you can
yeah.
do cleaning products. I wouldn't recommend doing soap. And the reason I say that is because there is lye in this.
Mm.
Um, you can't have soap without lye. So the lye is not there by the time it gets to you because I've let it cure for over 4 weeks. So there's
Wow.
nothing left whatsoever. There's this saponification process that happens and it gets rid of all of that, all the sodium hydroxide, but you're just left with soap.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't do that at home because I've had explosions. Actually, trying to do the brew bar, I had to put the beer and the lye together. And I'm glad I did this in the backyard because I had this volcanic reaction. It's like, don't do this at home, kids.
Oh my
I
goodness.
have my goggles and my gloves, and I'm just, I'm a hot mess.
So you're adding chemist really to your long list of professional achievements. Yeah, no, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I
Leanne,
am.
if somebody wants to find Do Good Soaps and Suds, where is the best place for them to find you around town, online? Point us in the right direction.
The best place is at dogoodsoapsandsuds.com. I have a local pickup option, so you can always come to my house and pick it up, or I can send it to you. It doesn't matter. And I use all reused packaging when I send things. I also have a Cloverly option so that it's carbon neutral, if you're concerned about that. And I always send a thank you note in every single box. But that's one place you can reach me. Another place you can find me, I'm always online at Instagram at Do Good Soaps and Suds, and on Facebook, Do Good Soaps. So those are the places. And if you do want to find us in person, we are almost always at the West End Farmers Market on Sundays from 8:30 to 1 o'clock. Unless, of course, the weather is too hot for my soaps and my lotions,
Uh,
or it's raining. Because if it's raining, I'm just going to take the soap and we'll all just be like soaking up there in the rain. So I work really hard on my product, so I don't want to lose it.
that makes total sense. That actually, that's legitimate. Guys, one place that I am going to put in a plug that you can find Leanne and Do Good Soaps and Suds is that Alexandria Makers Market has an upcoming event. We're co-hosting that in addition to the Garden / Building Momentum and the good folks at Safe Space Nova, and it will be at the Garden, which is near the Van Dorn Metro. But it's going to be in June. It's a Pride event. Leanne is going to be one of our vendors. We're so excited to have her, and we have a really fun lineup. We're going to have food trucks and music and kids activities, and just it's going to be a really fun family event that we're excited to bring for you guys. But Leanne is going to be there. So I really, really would love for you to come and check her out. If you don't catch her in the West End or online, that is going to be a perfect place to come find her. So, Leanne, I appreciate you and your heart and just the mission that you have behind what you're doing. And I think it's so important. So, thank you very much for the hard work.
Thank you.
You guys, please make sure that you are, whenever possible, shopping local, supporting small, and always make it Alexandria. Guys, go be the good news in someone's life.